What if the thing burning you out isn't your workload? It's not the deadlines, the meetings, or the long hours. What if it's something much quieter than all of that? Something you've been doing for so long, it doesn't even feel like your choice anymore. I'm talking about people pleasing, not just the surface stuff, not just the saying yes when you mean to say no. I'm talking about going deeper. I'm talking about why people pleasing feels right to so many high achievers, why it gets rewarded, and why quietly and slowly it eats at you all the way down. Stay with me. This one might just change how you see yourself. You're listening to Give Yourself Some Leeway with me, your host, Eugene Lee. Let me start by painting you a picture. So you're in a meeting and your manager asks you to volunteer on a project. You're already overwhelmed. Your plate is full. You know this. But you feel a pull in your chest. And the moment you do, you raise your hand and the relief floods through you. The room relaxes, your manager smiles, you feel good. You tell yourself, that's just what a good teammate does. But here's what you don't notice in that moment. You just abandoned yourself to take care of everyone else's comfort. And you've been doing it your whole life. In school, you're the peacemaker, the good one, the one who didn't cause any trouble. At work, you're the dependable one, the one who always figures it out. And people love you for it. And that makes it so much harder to stop. There's a term for this in psychology. It's a pattern called the fawn response. Now, you've probably heard about fight, flight, and freeze. Well, this is the fourth one. And it's the one that's the most misunderstood. You see, the fawn response is what happens when we learn, usually early in our life, that the safest thing we can do is to make other people happy, not fight them, not run away from them, and not freeze up. The safest thing we do is learn how to please them. Keep the peace, agree, smile, make yourself useful, stay small, stay invisible. It's a survival strategy. And for a lot of us, it worked. It kept us safe as kids. It got us praise. It helped us to fit in. But here's the problem. We grew up. The threat isn't there anymore, but the strategy that we used has stayed. And now it runs in the background like a program we didn't know we installed. So, what does the fawn response look like in our adult life, in our career? It looks like saying yes before you've even thought about whether you can or cannot do something, softening your opinion the moment that someone else pushes back, apologizing constantly, even though you didn't do anything wrong. You know, the person who always says, oh, sorry, sorry, sorry for everything, sorry for existing almost. If you find yourself apologizing all the time, that's the fawn response. It looks like working yourself into the ground and calling it dedication, feeling responsible for everyone's emotions in the room. That if someone feels disappointed with your opinion, that you must cheer them up. It looks like finding it physically uncomfortable when someone doesn't agree with you, when someone else feels put out by a decision that you make. Does this sound familiar? Here's the part that gets a lot of high achievers. People pleasing doesn't look like weakness from the outside. It looks like good, strong leadership. It looks like collaboration. It looks like you being easy to work with. You get promoted, you get praise, you get told you're the model employee. And that positive feedback makes this pattern go even deeper. You think, this is just who I am. This is what makes me successful. But underneath, You're exhausted because the people pleasing isn't coming from you pouring from a full cup. It's coming from your fear of conflict, fear of rejection, fear of being seen as the difficult or the selfish one or not being enough. And that fear never rests. It's always scanning the room, always checking, always adjusting. That constant vigilance, that's where the burnout comes from. It's not from it's not from working overtime. It's not that overload. It's not all the deadlines, the meetings, the hours. It's that constant hypervigilance, that watchfulness. So what do you do with this? I'm not going to give you a list of 10 things to do. I'm going to give you one. Start with one. You start small. Take a step back, give yourself some leeway, and what's one action you can take to go forward? This is called the pause and check in. And here's how it works. The next time someone asks something of you, a favor, a task, your opinion, anything, before you respond, pause, even for just 2 seconds. Pause and ask yourself this one question. Am I saying yes because I want to do this? Or because I'm afraid of what happens if I don't? Again, am I saying yes because I want to? Or because I'm afraid of what happens if I don't? That's it. That's the whole practice. Asking yourself this one question. You don't have to change your answer yet. You don't have to suddenly become the person who says no to everything. Just notice. Reflect on why you're saying yes. Notice the fear underneath that yes. Notice if there's any discomfort that rises when you even imagine saying no. Noticing how you feel in that moment, noticing if there is fear, is the beginning of change because you can't heal a pattern that you can't see. And once you start noticing, once you start really seeing that, everything starts to shift. If you recognize yourself in this episode, I invite you to take a step back and give yourself that leeway. Show some compassion to yourself. Don't see this fawn response as a personal failure or a flaw. The fawn response didn't develop because there's something wrong with you. It developed because something happened to you. You learned that maybe love was conditional, that safety required your performance, that your worth came from your usefulness. And that wasn't your fault. This is what I want you to know. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to have needs. You are allowed to disappoint someone and still be a good person. Your value is not in how little trouble you cause. You're allowed to put yourself down as someone who is worth protecting. You can see yourself as someone who's worth protecting too. That's not being selfish. That's the first step in healing. And today that starts with one pause, one honest check in with yourself, one small act of choosing yourself first. You've been showing up for everyone else for so long. It's okay for you to start showing up for you. Thank you so much for listening today. If this episode hit home, please share it with someone who you think needs to hear this. Until next time, take care.